Good morning. Come on, it is Bangalore, right, guys? I thought it was AI DevCon 2026. Let's have some energy to start with. I'm really excited to begin the keynote today. So, good morning. Wonderful. I'm really excited to be here today at AI DevCon 2026. Me and my team, we have Arsh, we have the entire Logitech team here. Always wonderful to be in middle of one of the biggest and one of the most exciting minds in the tech space, powering the future of artificial intelligence. So, we all are living in really exciting times in tech space today. I mean, the AI models are getting better, faster. The codes are getting generated in seconds, and the ideas which used to take, I would say, months, are getting generated in a few days. But behind all this, we at Logitech, we truly believe that there's something very incredibly human about it. We at Logitech believe that there's somewhere there's a coder, a developer sitting on a desk and creating, iterating, experimenting, and I would say converting imagination into a code or a great idea. And we at Logitech think about those moments very carefully, because that's exactly the moment where an idea is from your mind is converted into a code and into a machine. And we truly believe in creating these kind of tools which really empower the developers to create at the speed of thought. That's the idea of today's presentation that I have. And we really want to ensure that we empower the developers with our tools, which is a combination of a great hardware and an equally intuitive software. So stay with me. I'm going to talk about how we are integrating that in our products. So I'm going to talk about the hardware part of it, and my partner today, Arsh, is going to come on stage and talk about the software part of it. So talking about great experiences, one of the best experiences we all have when we work is the idea of the state of flow. We all experience flow, right? All of us say, I was in flow. What exactly is that state of flow? I'm sure all of you experience flow, right? We all are involved, immersed in something that we love so much that we forget where are we and we lose the track of time, right? It all happens with all of us. Why am I talking about it? Why is Logitech talking about it? Well, we truly believe that we want to create products. When the user uses those products, they experience the state of flow. Very exciting indeed, right? So how are we integrating such experiences in our product? And that is what I want to talk about. So as I said, it's in a state of moment in time when you lose the track of time because you love something that you're doing so much that you forget what and where you are. So, and we have done a interesting research on the state of flow. And I'm not a neuro expert, but let's quickly delve into how and how does the state of flow happen inside a brain, and then how we are slowly integrating that in our products. So a brain has two main components, which is the prefrontal cortex and a limbic system. And the prefrontal cortex is your executive center of the brain. It's responsible for your very, I would say, important tasks like problem solving, like decision making, very important, right? While the limbic system is responsible, it's like a emotional center of your brain. It's driven by emotions, feelings, and all of that is controlled by the limbic system. So while you are in the state of flow, both of these parts of the brain undergo change. The activity in the prefrontal cortex significantly goes down, and you feel that timelessness, focus in what you're doing. While the activity in the limbic system goes up, and it leads to a higher emotional attachment to the work that you're doing, leading to the feeling of happiness or achievement. So how do we get into flow then, right? It's a question. Well, flow comes in if you are involved in an activity which is equally challenging, requires all your skills, but it's not very difficult to create frustration. Anyone can get into flow. I mean, some people would instantly get into flow, some people will take time, but eventually everyone can experience the state of flow. But in today's world, we are faced with constant interruptions, right? We have WhatsApp, we have emails, we have constant multitasking, and we really lose, and the attention span is not very good when you have all of that. So what we did a research with pro community, developer community like you guys, and asked them that what really helps them to get into the state of flow, but what gets them out of that. That's very important. And we found three reasons, because if we really believe that even the tools that you use are responsible for you to get into flow, whether it's your software or your hardware. So the three reasons we found was, the first is ever expanding features. Like every app that you use has a different interface, right? I mean, you use so many apps today, and every app that you use has a different interface. So you're focused on one app, you suddenly shift to another one, and you suddenly lose focus. So you have to again focus, go back. So it's very difficult to come back to the state of flow. The second one is keyboard shortcut, and all of us have it, right? I mean, every app use some or the other keyboard shortcut we have, and it's very, very difficult to remember them. And the third one is doing fine adjustments. Typically, if you're a designer and you have to do finer adjustments, very difficult to do it using a laptop trackpad or a very ordinary hardware that you may use. So we said, how can we help as a brand? And as a brand, as Logitech, we truly believe in empowering, as I said earlier, the developer community. And we said, let's create tools which really help this community. We want to give you those tools, it's your work, but using our products, we want you to excel and create, as I said, at the speed of thought. So I'll play a quick video, and then I'll talk about how we are doing that. So let's roll the video.
Code and creativity have never been more valued than today. Digital content is fueling the global economy. At MX, we believe in human potential and creativity, and our mission is to empower software developers and creative professionals to envision and develop, imagine and create, share and communicate. MX is the link between you and the digital world. Our solutions are designed to help you create at the speed of thought, stay in the flow, be inspired by your workspace, and communicate effectively. The way you create changes rapidly, and we are constantly on the journey to define new experiences to address your evolving needs. The future of MX is an ecosystem that integrates hardware and software solutions to enhance your creative potential. We want MX to be the trusted partner for both seasoned professionals, opinion leaders, and young talents. A friend and a coach for girls and boys who dream about a career in computer science and design. We learn from you, get inspired by your successes, and are motivated by our common goal of moving the world forward and making it a better place.
Okay, so that is the mission, and quickly going to the history of computing, I'm not going to delve much into it, but if you look at what you see on the left, it's the first graphical user interface which came in 1981, I mean, long time back. And that's when we saw an opportunity to do something, to bridge the gap between the digital world and the analog world, and we created our first mouse in 1982. And then as the content evolved, the content matured, we created different versions of our products, and we added software customization to give better control to the user using it. So overall, what we want to do today, what I'm going to talk about is how are we helping you trigger more actions, how are we helping you adjust fine values and navigate better and excel at your work. So, and that's a combination of a great hardware and a software equal. So I'm going to talk about hardware, and I'll be inviting Arsh to talk about the software part, so stay tuned with that. So creating a great hardware, it's a very interesting part of it, and every time we talk to pro users, people like you, they tell us that we want the thoughts from our head to straight away appear on the screen. We won't have devices. You're working on something and you have a thought, and then you really want that thought to be, maybe a code or a design or whatever, and you want that exactly to be created immediately, right? So there's an interface in between. There's a keyboard or a mouse, and the device is not good. I don't think you are able to do that. So in order to create such devices, which are completely frictionless, we are creating something which is called an extension of a hand, and this is what is truly amazing about these products. So for example, if you're running today and you're wearing a shoe and the shoe is not a good fit, you're not going to enjoy running. You keep feeling the shoes, right? But if a shoe is a good fit, you forget that you're wearing a shoe, you keep running and you excel at that. So that's the kind of device, you forget that you are using it, it's still there, and you are creating something really great. So that's the kind of devices we want to create. They are the most comfortable to hold, to operate, and they perform at the best. And the design team at Logitech, we create these products using different methods, creating that perfect shape. We do extensive user tests using different hands. We have large, small, left, right, male, female, and create the best possible shape available. So today, if you hold the MX mouse, and I recommend you try it out when you have time on our booth, it is the best. It will feel like it was created for your own hand. And then we do visual testing to create the best looking product. And then we add great features in that, because it has to move, it has to perform the best, and it has the best of the best features in terms of the movement, in terms of we had something like a dark field sensor. I'm not going to delve much into it, but it can work on any surface. So the idea is the user is free that he or she knows where the product is to focus on the work. And then we add features like clicking. You just click, it doesn't sound anything. You focus on your work. There is no sound, but still clicks. And the most interesting part that we have done now is added haptic feedback. You can feel your work now. You can actually get feedback on your product. And Microsoft is also going to announce haptics on native on Windows very soon. So we'll have these devices coming soon where you have haptic feedback on devices like keyboard and mice. So we already introduced that on the MX4. So that was about the hardware part. To talk about software, we have a special guest, and I'm really happy and excited to work with Arsh Goyal. He needs no introduction. He's been an avid user of Amex products over the years, and happy to have him on stage. Arsh, can you please come on stage?
So thank you so much, Chiraayu, for a great presentation. I think a lot of them got to know about Logitech a lot. But yeah, I think it's very early morning. Most of us are into bed if we are working from home, or if you're going to office. Still, these are slow working hours, but you are here today. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to have an understanding of. So the idea behind the presentation is more around how AI has been changing the role of a software engineer. We used to write code. Now we are directing code. So how this shift is happening, and within this shift, what all things are changing, what should you be worried about, what should you be excited about, and how software engineering as a career, or maybe you are into any tech domain, be it an AI engineer or ML engineer, ML ops engineer, forward deployed engineer, you name data scientists, whatever it is. So how your role has slowly evolved and is evolving. So how many of you here are scared of AI? I need to have a show of hands. How many of you are here? Like, don't be shy. I just want to see some hands. I can see 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10. It's like very few people are scared of AI. How many of you are excited about AI? Okay, so all of you are excited about AI. Do you think AI will take away your job? A few of you have raised hands. Will AI take away your job? Yes or no? Okay. Do you see yourself coding after 5 years? Yes or no? No. So you'll be doing something else. Okay. So everyone is figuring out what we are going to do. So I think today's presentation will give you a gist of how things have changed in the past 2 years and how things will probably change in the coming few years. I'll just briefly introduce myself. I create AI tech engineering content across YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, a lot of AI tutorials on YouTube, a lot of short form content on Instagram and on LinkedIn. The content is more around experiential if I'm using a new product. And I think this is the age when you should at least be aware of what's happening in the market. That's something that we all should be at the core. Yeah. Have you heard the name of this company known as Cognition? Cognition Labs? Devin? Have you heard of Devin? Okay, so in March 2024, this company released something known as Devin, and the world called it as the first AI software engineer. And everyone was like, this is gonna change everything, this will replace us, and our jobs are in danger. So what they presented a 3 minutes demo in which they showed that this Devin picked up a job from Upwork, which is a freelancing platform, did that entirely, executed, raised a PR, and the payment was done. So Devin was able to pick up a job from Upwork, complete it, write the code, execute it, run tests, submit it, and the money was received. So this was the demo that they presented. It was kind of shocking for people, right? The work that we used to do as Indians for $15, $20, $30, that's being replaced by Devin. That was March 2024. Now we are in March 2026. What have you seen? Are engineers there? Has Devin replaced? Considerably no, right? But we have heard a lot of things. Yes or no? So what has changed? So what has Devin been able to do in the past 2 years? So I think these are the 4 things. They recently released a blog last month in which they told in the past 2 years, Devin has achieved this. So the first thing here is senior level understanding. So give a task to any of your LLM models. You will have that LLM model understand your task and will have that understanding that a senior person would have. But when it comes to execution, that execution still, you can consider it as a junior software engineer. So the model is good at senior level understanding, but not that good at execution till date. Second, we all have been, I think there's a lot of, like, India has been working on a lot of legacy migrations from years apart. There's been tens of years that we have been working on legacy migrations. And that was something that could have been solved. We generally consider that migration is a redundant task. We can give it to anyone and everyone. So they told, they're working with 2 banks, New Bank and Goldman Sachs. They have been using Devin, and their ETL migrations have improved 10x on productivity level. Like if a human engineer would take 40 hours to do an ETL migration, Devin was able to complete that in 3 to 4 hours. And this has actually been implemented, deployed within Goldman Sachs. So this is somewhere that we need to worry about. Maybe no, maybe yes. Third is understanding clear tasks. So if at all Devin needs to perform, needs to function, the instructions should be very clear. Whatever we are telling Devin, that should be very, very clear. Then only we'll get the desired output. We can't just simply write ki I want to migrate from this to this. You should be very specific in whatever you're giving to the AI model. Then only it will be enabled and it will be able to perform its tasks. And the hard limits. For example, I think if you have been using all these models, there's a point that comes in, you're doing something, you've done a lot of things with AI, and now it's stuck. You're asking it to do something, and it's giving you the same response again and again, 5, 7, 10 times. Now it's stuck. Now you need to get in. I think that's what Devin has not been able to achieve. This was just an example of Devin, but almost all the LLM models, you can take this as benchmark somehow. Even if it's Claude, or even if it's Codex, or OpenAI's GPT 5.2, 5.3, whatever. So almost all of them are somehow struggling for this. So now there are 2 things happening. One, AI is eating away a lot of jobs, but at the same time, AI is making some jobs 10x more valuable. Now you need to be in the way, you need to be a part of the jobs which are 10x more valuable. Now we'll discuss about what's the difference between what are the jobs being eaten and what a 10x engineer would look like going forward. So this was the scenario. I think 3 stages we have seen. First was a complete autocomplete on steroids. Like first time 2021 when we just saw GitHub Copilot, GitHub autocomplete, right? We used to write some code and GitHub Copilot was able to write that second part of the code, and like, wow, a lot of tasks is done. So that's what we saw in 2021, 2023. Then it was the second phase that we are currently in mostly, conversational programming, right? We used to have Cursor, Claude, anti-gravity, different models we have used, and we used to prompt and it used to give us results, right? So this is what we have been doing, and this is the stage that we are in currently. 2025, 2026 onwards, everyone has been talking about agents. Like it's going to be an age of agentic AI, it's agents everywhere, agents will take over, OpenClaw is coming, everything will be automated. So now this is the scenario that we see going forward. So we've discussed all of this. Now, all of this, right? There was a survey done by Meter. It told the jobs that AI has been doing, whatever the tasks that AI has been doing, is it making developers productive or unproductive? Is it saving time? Is it not saving time? I need a show of hands. How many of you say AI has made you faster? Okay, we have one-sided opinion. Anyone who thinks AI has made you slower? Oh, a few hands. AI has made you slower. So this was a survey done in which 19% of people said that AI has made them slower. Maybe this was done on a set of some 50,000 people. So that there could be a bias. 24% was the expected speed when everything models came in. And currently we are at 18%. So nobody is sure whether AI is helping you grow, whether AI is improving your task, improving your speed. Somebody is saying it's slowing you down, but I think what matters is the skill gap. If you know how to get the correct output in correct time, I think that's what AI would do. And everyone has been talking about taking our jobs away. You've heard Jensen Huang saying, we don't need software engineers anymore. Everyone can be a software engineer. Salesforce CEO very recently said, we won't be hiring any engineers at Salesforce, but still you see a lot of openings on their website currently. Anthropic CEO, the company behind that entire coding automation, that the most popular, the biggest company. So they're at CES 2026. He said, we don't need engineers. Anthropic engineers don't write any code. AI could do most, maybe all of software engineering. And he's been saying it from past 1.5 years, like within 6 months, there'll be no software engineers. So this is the current market scenario. I think a lot of things we have discussed about how the market has been changing, and I'll talk about how to become a 10x engineer versus which jobs are getting reduced. But before that, there's a quick demo. Let's talk about the hiring reality, then we'll move on to the quick demo. So this is how the hiring scenario has been for the past 3-4 years. The junior developers have significantly seen a dip in hiring. I think you would have seen in your organization. There is a bit of lower campus placement in terms of headcount. Also, even a lot of companies are looking out for senior research engineers or ML engineers, somebody who comes with 10-12 years of experience and who has a research background. So that's the scenario. So young developer employment has reduced. Newer roles are coming up. AI engineer, prompt engineer. Any new role that you've heard of? Have you heard of forward deployed engineering? FDEs. 5-10% of you. So I was interviewing Rajiv, he's the country head of Microsoft. And he said that we are moving towards this phase where we plan to hire more forward deployed engineers. Search about what is a forward deployed engineer. I think there's a lot of content out there. So let's come on to a quick productivity demo. I think this talk has been in collaboration with Logitech. I think Logitech has been helping a lot of developers improve their productivity. But I'll showcase you it with a very small example. It is one example, but you can do it any way possible. So how to build an MCP server? You know MCP? Apart from model context protocol, anything else? So what is an MCP? Very simple definition would be, it's a, It's a connector. It's a universal, Some connector I heard. Type C connector. Okay. So it's basically, if at all, I'll give you a very small example. You would have seen, right, in your ChatGPT, all of you have used ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. In your ChatGPT or Claude, for example, if you want to integrate any of your application or give it any external API, right? For example, you want to place an order from Swiggy inside ChatGPT. So how can you connect your Swiggy to ChatGPT? That's why an MCP server. It's a very, very basic layman definition. On your ChatGPT, you go and ask it, @Swiggy, please help me order a Meghna biryani at 3 p.m. at my door. So it'll be able to do that, and the entire thing will be taken care of. There's something known as agentic commerce now. Payments are also happening online. MasterCard has also integrated somewhere something. Razorpay has also integrated something somewhere. So things are changing very fast, and MCP is very common. Now, if you want to set an MCP or build an MCP server, these are the steps that you need to follow. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, right? Has anyone done this before? 1, 2, 5, 10% audience, or people are very shy to raise a hand. So I think it would take you a considerable amount of time if you're doing it for the very first time, right? How much time it would take? If you're unaware of what is MCP, let's come to that. If you don't know about a few things, APIs, how to get in, set an environment variables, you're doing it for the first time. Take you 1-2 days. example, any what else? Codex. CLI. Have you used Gemini CLI? Anyone? Oh, Gemini is not that popular. Huh? You use Gemini? AWS Q chat or Kiro, what they call it. Has used Kiro? A few. So I can judge. It's mostly Claude audience here. So I think it will take you 2 steps. We have reduced 5 steps to 2 steps. Now it has considerably reduced our time. Yes or no? We just need to prompt, open VS Code, prompt, start CLI agent and give a prompt. Now let me optimize it even further using Logitech. How will we be doing that? So Logitech has this mouse that Chiraayu was showing, in which there are 7 buttons. And each of that button can be customized to whatever you want. And that customization is in your hand. There's an app known as Logi Options Plus, in which you can do it yourself. I'll show you a very simple use case. Now, we just guess the time. Now, this is with Logitech MX Smart Actions. You just need to press a mouse button and this will be auto done. How cool is it, right? One single button and this is auto done. This is just one example. So many things can be done with this automation. Can we play the video? So this, let's just pause. Yeah. No, the demo and pause. Yeah. So this is the interface of Logi Options Plus, wherein you can create smart actions. Smart actions, like you can automate. Generally, we used to write Python scripts and stuff, right? The same can be done in this UI, wherein I am giving it commands. Like I have pressed one button of the mouse, and it does these following steps. One is, it will open your VS Code. There's a 3-second delay. It opens your terminal. There's a 3-second delay. Then it opens any CLI agent. I've written Gemini because it's not that popular. Then again, what happens once Gemini starts? You'll feel something on your mouse. There's something known as haptic feedback that I think there are few mouse on the outside booth. You can go and feel those. Like for example, if your work is done, you'll have a vibration coming out from your mouse that your work is done. So once a CLI agent starts, you will feel that on your hand. That's how it looks. After that, there's a 4-second delay. Then I've given a prompt to the Gemini CLI and it auto does. We can play the video now. Yeah, so I've set this up. I'm trying it. This is just a click of the button. And it auto opens Visual Code. It auto starts Gemini CLI. This was already open terminal. It will give the command again. So it's given Gemini again. So Gemini started. It will give the prompt and it will start running. Next slide. So you see both of these happening together. There's so many different things. I'll show you 2-3 more things and then we'll come on to that final part. It's debugging, right? Now, for example, if you come across a bug, earlier we used to go to Stack Overflow. How many of you are using Stack Overflow now? Stack Overflow is down, their usage is down by 95%. This is the stats that they release. I have used Stack Overflow like 3-4 years back, but now mostly you would go to any of these GPTs or Claude or whatever, right? How can you automate that? For example, you're doing something in your VS Code and you come across a bug. You just simply need to click on that bug. There's a mouse button that you can automate. You click on that mouse button and it automatically takes your bug to GPT and you get the solution. That's what can be automated. Let's do it on the next video. Yeah. So, for example, any VS Code ID that you have, again, I've done some automation. VS Code to Claude search. I'll try it on. So it opens up my VS Code. I was working on some deep research agent. There's an error that comes in. I clicked on that error and it automatically gave the prompt to the GPT and the error is there and I got the solution why this error came in. So I think that's also automated. Next, third demo. Git actions, right? Git add, git commit. We have been using it very frequently. I think this can also be automated if you're a very heavy use, like your heavy use cases adding or committing or pushing. We can play the video. Again, the same CLI, same use cases. You can automate as much stuff as possible. Whatever you feel like is not saving you time. I've seen an automation wherein somebody just goes and clicks a mouse button, and there are so many things that happens. Your VS Code or Claude Code opens, light music starts playing in between, and your entire setup is done with just one mouse click. So this is also happening. This was an example for Git actions. Next slide. Customize the action ring. Now there's an action ring, like, wait, can you please pause? So with one mouse click, you can have 8 different options coming in, and all of these 8 would have further 8 options. Total 72 options can be customized. Now, for example, I'm on a very favorite topic of everyone, that's dynamic programming on Geeks for Geeks, and I would want to summarize this entire page, right? So I can customize that using my actions ring. If you can play the video. How we'll be doing that? So you go to any of the page, you just, any of these 8 action ring plugins, click on one, and you can do this. There's so many tasks that can be done. This was just a very simple task wherein you don't need to write or go through a complete Medium article, but you can do it very quickly. Next slide. Hardware action. So this is how the mouse looks like. There's an infinite scroll that can be scrolled for 2100 lines. That's one. This is how you see. It can do 2100. 2100 came in when I was doing it. It might be even more. You can switch between different screens very easily. There's a horizontal scroll which can move through different tabs, or it's very useful for Adobe Premiere Pro. Even the keyboard can help you switch, and this is how the mouse looks like. Next slide. So we are done. So I think we have seen different phases on how things are changing, how productivity we are seeing, and a very small demo of a device that can make you more productive. But initially I talked about AI is taking away some jobs, eating away some jobs, and some jobs are becoming 10x more powerful. Now, which jobs are becoming 10x more powerful? And what are those people doing? Let's come to that. So there's a great skill divide, right? What has already been automated, what even Devin told, what everyone is telling, that writing boilerplate and CRUD from scratch is no longer a task. We used to do it, but now this is something that AI is master at. Second, memorizing syntax and API. Like earlier we used to ask in interviews, like, what would be the syntax of this to this, right? Now I think that remembering a lot of syntax is not a lot of value to anyone. It's just a click of any LLM model. There can be manual bug spotting in code review. Earlier we used to spot, oh, this is the entire line of code. Now you copy paste the entire code and give it to GPT. It will figure out where's the bug. For example, there's a syntax error, right? Earlier you used to find out in which line I've missed a comma or a curly braces or whatever. But now you can simply put in that code and it will automatically do this. So that's something that's not doing. Being a human Stack Overflow. Earlier people used to say, I have seen so many, like a lot of Stack Overflow, and I know each and everything. So I think that human understanding of Stack Overflow is not that good, because now it's everything available very, very quickly. Typing speed, earlier it used to be an advantage, but now in the age of AI, it's not that great. Migration, test writing, documentation. Migration, we've already seen ETL migration, but a lot of companies have been doing different version migrations also, like React 18 to React 19. That's also something that's been solved. What's becoming 10x more valuable? I think specification and scoping. What's the kind of work that we need to do? That's very important to figure out. Like, this is something that's important. Second, architecture and system design. I think, yeah. So what's becoming more important? Architecture and system design. AI is still writing functions, but if you're combining, let's say, 50 microservices together, I think it fails currently. So this is something that will give you an advantage. Code review and judgment. Now AI is generating all code. I think if you are able to review that AI generated code better, you are at a 10x position. But now Claude has recently done an AI code reviewer day before yesterday. Now code is also written by Claude. It's being reviewed by Claude. Everything is being done by Claude, and human is out of the loop. So that's what they wanted to say. But still, I think that's a fab. You still need to have somebody reviewing your code. Code generation has commoditized a lot, but code review is the next big thing. Domain understanding, I think if you are deep into one domain, for example, you have a 10, 12, 15 years of fintech experience, I think that makes a lot of sense, because you can have an ideation, idea, domain understanding, and you can build on the top of it. So a domain understanding becomes very important. And AI orchestration. When I say AI orchestration, which tool is to be put in where and how to combine different tools to get an output. I think that's the skill that all of us should look out at, right? We have so many tools. We still would be doing a lot of things that could have been done automatically, or a 3 hours work can be done in 30 minutes, but we don't know. That AI orchestration is very important. What should you be doing? Pick one AI coding tool, go deep. If you have not yet started, it can be any. Don't figure out this is good, this is not good. I have tried a lot, even if it's Claude or if it's Quen or Kimi. There are so many Chinese models also. I think they are also performing very well. Pick anything, go deep, practice prompt-driven development. Now you need to know what prompt can get you the best output. I think if I assign you a task to build a normal snake game, the question that we used to do, all of you would have a different output. It would be based upon who has done how much practice for that prompt-driven development. Invest in things that AI can't do. Is there anything that AI can't do? It can't build hardwares. Yes, physical AI is something that is booming. See a lot of people investing in physical AI. Build something with AI and then break it. Maybe do the other way around. You build something, then figure out where it went wrong. I think that top down and bottom up for any piece of code is very, very helpful. Stay in the code. Don't fully outsource your instincts. It's like, don't rely on AI the most. It's like you need to be there understanding and getting things done. Yeah, that was it. Go to the Logitech booth. They have a lot of exciting challenges coming. There's smart action that you can build. You can even win that cool device that we just showed, and so many other things to experience out there on how can you improve your developer productivity. I think the team would be there. There's a lucky draw also where you can, I think you've got some kit in which there's a coupon. Go put that coupon. If you're lucky, you would get something. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you so much. It was pleasure talking to you.
Hey, hi Harsh. First of all, thank you for starting with a good idea of how the AI is really navigating across the forum. My question is, so you gave us a good overview of that, what is getting obsolete and what is getting 10x more productivity, right?
Yes.
So my question is with respect to, in software development, there's one more skill set which we have been valuing from very long, which is debugging.
Yes.
Right, so after LLM coming in our life, how do you feel debugging skills is still far more relevant, or given that agentic apps have a fixed button now, right, is that something which is getting obsolete?
Nee, I think we are not at a stage then we can see debugging has been obsolete. We need to have a human in the loop for anything and everything. You can get, whenever, for example, that button, right, you can get your code debugged, but still AI is not 100% correct. This is what I have observed, right? So still at this point of time, maybe 2 years down the line, my answer will be different. But currently, I don't see this happening. Debugging is not been replaced, and it is a 10x valuable skill. Anything else we have?
Yeah, their backside.
Hello, sir. I'm Shankar, self-taught AI developer. I'm doing my bachelor's in cybersecurity. So I have worked with AI agents a lot in the past. I've built many AI softwares. I was pretty impressed by the hardware that you have produced. It's really impressive, especially it is comparable to the Western ones like Teenage Engineering and many others.
Yes.
But my question is related to the software part. How are your agents that you're using different from the regular ones? Because I have used many agents also, like Claude and others. How do you kind of stand out from the other softwares in the agent speed? Because I don't find anything.
So saying the agents that we're using for optimizing this hardware, Logitech hardware.
No, the ones which you just showed two presentations, right? One is on software, one is on hardware.
Yes.
Hardware was pretty impressive, but the software seems to be not different from. How do you stand out from
So
other
it's like
softwares?
you're talking about how that thing has been automated within that Logi Options app. We don't have our own widget. Yeah.
Enabling agents to soft shortcuts.
Yeah, so we don't do the agents ourselves. I think that's being enabled by the research team, and that's how that application is developed. We don't build AI agents using LangChain or LangGraph or N10.
Oh.
That's a different part. That's something if you're doing it at our scale. If I want to build something tomorrow, I can do it using all the tools that I have. In fact, I have
So it's
done a
for
series-
development.
Yeah, in fact, I have done a series on my YouTube where I've taught how to build those AI agents. But I think this is more of an enterprise version of those agentic AI skills in a use case like Logitech mouse or a hardware mouse. I think this is very different from where you are coming from. But even if you are building agents, right? I think now there are so many platforms wherein you can build. Even OpenAI has its own agent builder now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe you would have tried.
Yes.
And not just that, if you're looking out for enterprise, if you have heard of Agent Force by Salesforce,
Yes.
I think that's something that's very good. I've tried and I've built something and it looks very enterprise grade. There's a company known as Aria, AIRIA. So I've recently raised 100 million, and they're also into enterprise agentic agents where you can build agents on their platform for enterprise clients. I think that's something that maybe you can explore more, you'll get an understanding. But this was more from a product point of view, product lens.
For example, in an enterprise case, the companies are scared about sharing their private information. What you can recommend for an enterprise?
So I think all of these LLM models offer their own enterprise version that's end-to-end encrypted. So even for example, I am working for a company that's like a $4 billion company, and they have been putting their data, and we have a Gemini enterprise version, wherein we are using Gemini for everything and anything, but the data is end-to-end encrypted, because if at all you are getting any LLM model for your company, you can't just put in whatever comes into a normal LLM model. It will use it for training, or you never know where that data went. But with respect to security, because this becomes a very, very important aspect, privacy and security, every company has been talking about, be it OpenAI or Claude or something. There was a very recent controversy with the US government for this privacy and security thing only. But I think if you're an enterprise, I think you would have an enterprise grade license that is end-to-end encrypted, and your data won't be shared with any of these LLM models for training.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Yash. So basically, in industries, we are seeing lot of engineering-based companies are shifting to AI. So while we are proposing solutions to engineering-based products, they are saying that you're already using AI accelerators. So how do you provide solutions like end-to-end in our projects? That is a gray area which we are not quite sure about that. How to provide end-to-end AI solutions for manufacturing industries? Can you touch base on
when you say
this?
manufacturing, what are you talking about? Any specific use case example?
Use case, the sense, say for example, when we are dealing with Airbus as a client, where we are handling lot of aircraft and aeronautical related stuff.
Yeah.
So we have already started using AI accelerators in the project, and in coding related stuff we have already implemented it. But when we are proposing the solutions to client, what they are asking is, how do you give end-to-end solutions for this?
So I think everyone wants to move from that services thing to product, right? Somehow at some point of time you want to have a product wherein you don't need to have human in the loop, and that's what all of us we have been working with. All of these the entire services industry, even I think the TCS or Infosys or whatever it is, they have been serving clients like Airbus, Boeing for a lot of different use cases. But when it comes to end-to-end solutions, we have not been there yet. People are building, like for example, if at all you are giving them a solution and they were billing you for, let's say, 50 hours. Now they can bill you for 30 hours, and rest 20 hours you can sell them a product. So I think half has already been done in a lot of industries, but end-to-end companies are building it. I was talking about the company known as Area, right? So they're doing this only. They're doing end-to-end enterprise automation wherein you don't need human in the loop, and a lot of different companies have been using it. So they recently raised 100 million. It's just because of that. Even Salesforce, it was more of a CRM thing. Now their focus is all on Agent Force. There are a lot of companies who are doing this end-to-end, but as a human, as an individual, we can't do it. As an organization, putting in tools, because there are a lot of compliances that comes in, right? So considering all those compliances, see where human in the loop can be removed, wherein we can put in more software, and we can bill people for more software. So that's, everyone is trying to optimize and making themselves or the company more efficient. So that's how it is.
Yeah, in that case, I do have another question pairing to it. So most of the clients which we are dealing with is, we have a workforce with mechanical engineering background. So in that mechanical engineering background based associates, how do we, like they are not much into coding. So how can we improvise them, and how can we give more insights on AI?
So I think this is very important, and in fact, I have also done it for some organizations wherein I go and train people who are into product, into marketing, into operations, let's say mechanical engineers, right? If at all a mechanical engineer is spending X amount of time for something, or there are so many applications, right? CAD, AutoCAD and stuff that they use. How can you, there's so many things that can help you build better prototype than AutoCAD or CAD. just as a simulation. You are using CAD, AutoCAD to do something, but before working on that software, you can have a simulation before that. So I think that's something that training needs to be provided. And if people are equipped with AI, I think a lot of time would be saved. We were talking about 10x software engineers, but that they can be 10x mechanical engineers because not a lot of people know about AI in that space that you're talking about. I think training them better would help.
Thanks, Arsh.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure talking.